Welcome back to my 7-day challenge to eat only food as featured in the TV show Red Dwarf.
What the hell is going on?
I finished day 2 by uneating a pie in the backwards universe, but today we're thankfully back in the 3 millionth century. Breakfast on day 3 is very simple, it's just boiled eggs, or as Crichton would call it,
boiled chicken ovulations. Delicious.
Of course I'll be having that with toasted soldiers.
Anyone like any toast?
That is a perfectly cooked egg. Needs a bit of Tabasco though. So much better. For lunch today I'm going to be eating 2 separate things, almost as like a main and dessert type situation. The first one is Sugar Puff sandwiches. Now these have recently had a rebrand, they're now called Honey Monster Puffs. You know what, I have never eaten Sugar Puffs in my entire life, so I'm curious just to see what they taste like. List of Sugar Puff sandwiches have had multiple different appearances, several different mentions, but as far as I can tell, we've only ever seen them twice. First one is in Series 6, Episode 2, Legion.
Sugar Puff sandwiches, my favourite.
And secondly, in one of the more recent series, Series 12, Episode 2, Siliconia, we see Lister, who has been transformed into a mechanoid, making loads of Sugar Puff sandwiches. And actually, it's the only time we've ever seen inside. We realise it's more than just Sugar Puffs in a sandwich. There's also cheese in there. And there's also speculation online that you grill them as well, like a grilled cheese. I don't know where that comes from exactly, but that sounds amazing. So I'm going to be making a grilled cheese Sugar Puff sandwich. And then for dessert, I'm going to be making a fruit salad with various different things, but definitely female aardvark is going to be in there somewhere.
An aardvark isn't even a fruit.
But on the side, I'm going to have some more mango juice, but I'm actually going to make some fresh mango juice this time with this fresh mango. Because the Rubicon stuff is nice, but the song goes fresh mango juice.
Fresh mango juice.
So I'm going to have fresh mango juice. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with the fresh mango juice. I absolutely hate cutting up mangoes because the stone is such an odd shape. But let's see what I can do with this thing. But of course, because I'm just going to blitz it up, it doesn't need to be neat at all. And this definitely isn't the safest way to do it. Don't try this at home, people. Okay, let's have a look at this thing. Okay, it's definitely very smoothie like. I probably could have added a bit more water, but let's give it a taste. It's missing something. It's not as sweet. It's definitely more of a mango smoothie than a juice, but I'll know for next time. Okay, on to the Sugar Puff sandwiches. So as far as I can tell, all you need is a couple of slices of white bread, which is then buttered. I need to try these before I do anything. It's basically just puffed wheat with some sweeteners in there. Okay, and let's sprinkle a good generous helping onto our bottom slice. And then we slice up our cheese. So this is some good quality vintage Welsh cheddar. This is absolutely delicious stuff. A nice generous helping of that on top. Just close that up. And then I'm going to grill that in a George Foreman. So whilst that's grilling, I'm going to prepare dessert, which is a fruit salad. So here I have a small off-duty Czechoslovakian traffic warden. I've also got a red and blue striped dolphin umbrella. And of course you wouldn't be complete without the Bolivian Navy on manoeuvres in the South Pacific.
Alright, man, you can do it.
The Sugar Puff toasty is ready. It's not as brown as I was hoping for, but the cheese has melted, so let's go get it. So, I'm going to start with this Sugar Puff toasted sandwich thing. And of course, cut into triangles because triangles taste nicer. All I'm tasting is cheese. Maybe I didn't put enough Sugar Puffs in. And weirdly, the sweetness of the Sugar Puffs going alongside the cheese, it's actually pretty good. I think they're onto something here. And because I've toasted it, the Sugar Puffs have kind of gone a bit soft and squidgy like they would normally if you were eating it in a bowl of cereal with milk. I'll show you the inside of the other one. All of that melty cheese and Sugar Puffs. The good cheese pull. Mate, Cotton Lies fruit salad. It's fruit, what do you expect? I mean, the Czechoslovakian traffic warden, bit of a rarity nowadays. I think it tastes more like a female aardvark, but I better hurry up and eat this. I can't hang around here all day. I've got to go take the penguin for a walk.
What's this? It's a banana.
I can't believe I've waited till dinner on day 3 to get to Dave Lister's favourite meal, Vindaloo. Like, he is like the curry fiend. He eats curry all the time.
Give me breakfast.
What would you like?
Chicken vindaloo.
But I'm not going for any old Vindaloo. No. Well, firstly, I'm just getting it out of a jar because I can't be arsed making it. But, but no, I am doing, from Series 2, Episode 2, Caviar Vindaloo.
I never thought I'd see the day when I could eat something as classy as this, you know.
Can you believe they sell this in Tesco? I mean, it's only like a £5. This is very, very cheap caviar. This is nowhere near like the £100 little things, because no way am I putting that kind of stuff onto a Vindaloo. I mean, it says caviar. I'm not sure like how nice it is compared to like actual caviar from sturgeon. This is from lumpfish. Now, I've never eaten caviar in my life, so I don't even know what this stuff tastes like. I have eaten other types of fish eggs, like salmon roe, for example. I've had little tiny bits of that on sushi. Should we give it a go? Oh, it's a very strong fish flavour. I can see the appeal though, it's pretty good. Very, very salty. But what's it going to taste like when you put it on a Vindaloo? Let's give it a go. So in the episode, Lister and the cat go to this really nice restaurant, and you first see them drinking like massive cocktails. I'm not doing that because I just can't be arsed. But then he orders the Vindaloo and he has it with chips and rice. So chips are going into a pan, and then we're just going to cook those for 28 minutes. And then I'll also get some rice on the go. A decent amount of that as well. It was a very big plate. Now, because I'm using a pre-packaged sauce, I'm not going to actually add that much to the actual sauce itself. So I'm just going to shove in an onion using my extremely sharp, awesome knife. Lovely. Because then, of course, like the meat aspect is clearly the caviar. So I'm literally just going to soften those up, add the sauce, and get it all nice and yummy. Probably already has onion in it, but you know, I just want some fresh stuff. Yes, 15% onion this. Dealing with the onions. Oh, I love the smell of fried onions. Always makes me happy. So these onions are starting to get some colour now, so I think it's time to throw in the sauce. It smells nice. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to cover that and let it simmer for the next 10 minutes or so. The chips are done. Let's throw those onto the plate first. Even though they were in like a really nice restaurant, I can't say that the plate was presented in a Michelin star kind of way, so I'm just going to pile this on nearly which how. Then we're going to put the rice on the other side. So much carbs in this dish. And then the Vindaloo sauce. And finally, pièce de résistance, lumpfish caviar. I'm not quite sure how much to put on this, but I'm thinking a lot. I'm almost tempted to put like rochets of it on. Is that the word? There we go. Caviar Vindaloo with half chips, half rice, and on the table there's plenty of bread and butter. Let's go eat it. Well, it certainly smells interesting. There's a very, very strong fish flavour coming out of this. Okay, let's give this a go. Let's get started with the rice. Well, that fish flavour is very pungent. The curry itself is nice. I just tried a bit without anything else, but wow, that fish just really adds a punch. If you eat the chips and the caviar just together on their own, it tastes like fish and chips, but have it all together, and it's a very confused dish. It's too confused, too many flavours going on all at once. So I'm only going to have to give it like a 4 out of 10. It needs work. Well, I'm going to eat as much of this as I can be bothered. And I'll see you tomorrow for breakfast. It's breakfast on day 4, and this is probably the meal that I've been least looking forward to all week. From Series 6, Episode 1, cornflakes with raw onion on top, and a side of Vindaloo sauce. What is Lister thinking?
That's like some barely human, grossed out slime ball.
So this appeared in an episode where he'd just woken up from a deep sleep and his memory hadn't come back yet, and he was like, this is disgusting, why do I do this? And then later on he just eats it and he's like, yes, awesome. So,
Nice cornflakes, nice and oniony. Can you pass us that Tabasco sauce? Just needs a bit more pep in it.
okay, fine. So I've got some raw onion here, some cornflakes in a bowl. Now I didn't see him put milk in it, but you know, you eat milk with cereal, right? So let's just throw that in. This is going to be horrendous, isn't it? And this is raw white onion as well. Red onion I can eat raw, but white? Oh, okay. Let's try the Vindaloo. It doesn't taste too bad actually. That's a bit weird. It's a bit bland. But Lister did throw some Tabasco on because it needed a bit more pep according to him. So let's throw some Tabasco into my cornflakes. Oh, okay. Well, it has added flavour, but it's certainly not good. I'm going to skip. 0 out of 10. So for lunch today, I am going to heaven, or the cat heaven anyway. From Series 1, Episode 4, Waiting for God. This is the cat's idea of heaven. Hot dogs and donuts. So of course Lister had this plan to go and live on Fiji and open up a hot dog and donut stall. And then when the cat people evolved, that became their idea of heaven.
And Cloister spake, Lo, I shall lead you to Fuchsia, and there we shall open a temple of food, wherein shall be sausages and savoury donuts.
So I've got some Wilkinger hot dogs and some buns, and I've also got some donuts from Greg's, just because that's my nearest bakery, and I've never had a Greg's donut, so I'm going to try those later. I'm looking forward to those. I've got some fried onions, ketchup and mustard hiding behind here. I haven't got the individual sachets of mustard that the cat people said that they would have.
Yea, even individual sachets of mustard.
But I wanted to start a debate actually, because it's pretty common in Britain to cut your hot dog down the centre like that. But then I know other parts of the world, particularly America, cut it down the side like that. Let me know down in the comments what you prefer to do. Are you a middle or a side person? Personally, I think the middle one looks nicer, but middle, I don't know. They're gonna taste the same regardless. That is heaven. Now it's donut time. These look incredible. I am looking forward to eating these. So I'm going to start with this one at the front. And this one is called, look down at my notes, caramel custard donut. Okay, so it probably has some sort of custard on the inside. Where's the hole? There it is. There's custard there. That is quite nice. The custard isn't too sweet, which means therefore the whole donut isn't too sweet. So that is very devourable. Next up is a pink jammy donut. That's filled with absolutely delicious raspberry jam in the centre. Amazing. That is nicer than the caramel one. Let's go in there. Here's my only ring donut. This is the sugar strand pink donut. It's pretty basic, but still nice. Obviously there's no filling in this. So I'm going to put that at the bottom of these 3. And finally we have a triple chocolate donut. So this is covered in chocolate ganache with some chocolate shavings on top. And it's filled And the cream filling there. I think this has a coffee flavour to it. So therefore I'm going to put that at the bottom because I don't like coffee. So there we go. So the winner is this pink jam-filled one. So it's just gone lunchtime, but I need to start preparing dinner because it's something you need to prepare ahead of time and then chill it. From Series 1, Episode 6, we are going with Gazpacho soup. This was the last words that Rimmer said before he died, and it's also the dish that he blames for why he wasn't an officer.
Gazpacho emergency announcement.
He explains that he was invited to have lunch with the captain, and they brought him a starter of gazpacho soup, but he didn't know it was supposed to be served cold.
I called over the chef, and I told him to take it away and bring it back hot.
And all the other people at this table were like, "What the hell are you doing, Rimmer?"
The looks on their faces still haunt me today. That was the end of my career.
So I'm going to make gazpacho soup the proper way, and like I said, you need to prepare it ahead of time and chill it to get it nice and cold, so that's absolutely perfect. So let's prepare that now.
Super.
Gazpacho soup is surprisingly simple to prepare actually. I was very surprised when I read the ingredients and the recipe. Basically all you need is some tomatoes, cucumber, red onion, green pepper, garlic, some white bread, then also top it up with some olive oil, sherry vinegar, salt, pepper and some ground cumin. And that's it. And literally you just chop it all up, bung it in a blender and press go. How simple does that sound? Okay, well let's just get started. Of course when you're doing anything that's blending, you just want to give everything a rough chop beforehand, because I have tried before where you just throw the whole ingredients in and it just doesn't work. So gazpacho is like a Spanish thing as far as I recall. Very popular in warmer climates. So with the bread, it says first of all to remove the crusts, but secondly, it would help if they don't end up on the floor. Secondly, you need to soak it. It says the way to soak it is just by rinsing it under the tap and then squeezing the moisture back out. Which is something I've never done before. That just feels that feels really weird. Yeah, let's just throw some bits of that in there. So now it's 3 tablespoons of olive oil, 1, 2, 3, and 2 tablespoons of sherry vinegar. Actually, out of all of the ingredients, this is the only thing I had to buy specially. The other things I normally just have in the house anyway. Why aren't you coming out? I'm out. Do I need to do something special to make you come out? That'll do. I'll add in a pinch of salt. I've got some Ibiza salt here actually. This is from the salt flats in Ibiza. And then some black pepper. And finally half a teaspoon of cumin. And all we do now is just blend that up. This is looking very pink. I was expecting it to be sort of redder. I mean, it tastes fine. You know what, I might just throw some extra tomatoes, maybe some tomato puree in there just to get the colour right. Let's just throw the whole thing in. Plonk. I know that's not what it's supposed to do, but I like it. I just want to see what it's like. Give this a try. Oh, that tastes really good. Let's just pour this all into a big jug. It's a lot lumpier than I was expecting it to be. I was expecting it to be a bit smoother, but whatevs. We'll go with it. I followed the recipe, kind of. So that goes in the fridge. I'll be ready to eat in a few hours. Good evening. Here is my gazpacho soup. It smells just like tomatoes. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be this gloopy. I mean, it tastes pretty good. Very refreshing. It's like a tomatoey, cucumbery kind of flavour. Eat it with some crusty bread. That was good bread. You can normally garnish it with stuff like some herbs and extra little bits of like onion and tomato and stuff. But of course, we all know that Rimmer liked it hot. So in the microwave it goes. There we go. One steaming hot bowl of gazpacho soup. I mean, it doesn't much look any different, but let's give it a taste. Interesting. The heat has actually enhanced the cucumber flavour. And it now tastes a lot less tomatoey and a lot more cucumbery. That is very, very weird. How? What? I'm confused. How does that happen? Either way, it's still pretty nice. In fact, it's super. Good morning, it is day 5. I'm just going to put that down there. And for breakfast today, I'm going to have something which I don't think has actually appeared on screen, but it's definitely a very popular phrase, and that is a smoked kipper.
Smoke me a kipper. I'll be back for breakfast.
Now this is presumably the favourite breakfast of Ace Rimmer, who is a Rimmer from an alternate dimension. First appeared in Series 4, Episode 5, Dimension Jump. And his favourite phrase was, "Smoke me a kipper, I'll be back for breakfast." I don't think I've even seen him eat a kipper, and you know what, I've never eaten a kipper either, but I managed to find these in the shop. In my opinion, a kipper is kind of like an old school kind of breakfast. So this is basically a smoked fish, which as far as I'm aware, it can be different types of fish, but this particular one is herring. I'm not sure how popular it is as a breakfast item nowadays. Like I said, I think it's quite an old school item, but you can still buy them, so clearly people are actually eating them. So I always assumed that kippers you needed to fry in a frying pan or something like that, but this particular kipper, it just says you can either microwave it in the pack for 2 minutes and 15 seconds or boil it for 15 minutes. So essentially, you just heat this thing up. You don't need to cook it, so to speak. I had to actually look up on the internet what you eat with kippers because I have absolutely no clue whatsoever. One recipe that did appeal to me was basically just eating it on top of scrambled eggs on toast. So I'm going to cook some scrambled egg, stick the kippers on top, and see what it's like. So of course, scrambled egg is basically just scrambled egg. There's nothing special about it. However, I did see this thing on the internet the other day about how to cook scrambled eggs in a very interesting looking way, so I'm going to give that a go rather than just my usual just bung it in and cook it. All of this is going to take very little time to cook, so it's all about timing, I guess. So let's start with the toast. Why not? And then, like I said, these take 3 minutes and 15 seconds. That pan is getting nice and hot now, so let's throw some butter in to melt that. These kippers are popping away. Throw our egg in. So this technique that I saw basically involves just leaving it a little bit so it starts off almost like an omelette. But then, once it starts to solidify slightly underneath, just pull it back like this. Back on the other side. And the idea is that you just have this really nice looking floret thing almost. I don't think that's quite what I was expecting, but alright. I'm just going to top my eggs with some dried chives and then stop that. Let's get the toast on the plate, get that buttered up, and then we shove on our scrambled eggs. You may be wondering why I didn't put salt on that, and that's basically because these kippers are going to be quite salty, aren't they? There you go, kippers out of the microwave. They've inflated, the label's gone a bit discoloured. And there was some sort of butter or something in there, which has marinated the kippers a little bit. So let's just cut this packet open. And we'll stick those on top. Top it with a sprig of parsley for some nice decoration. There we go. Scrambled eggs with kippers for breakfast. I mean, it looks nice, doesn't it? I'm actually quite proud of how this looks. Let's go eat it. Well, it smells very fishy and smoky fishy in here. I mean, it's unusual to have a fish for breakfast in my opinion, but it happens in multiple places throughout the world. It's just not usual for me. Okay, well, let's try this then. Wow. That smoky flavour is amazing. Oh, I didn't realise there's actually multiple fish in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's like maybe 4 or 5 different fillets. Okay. It's really nice fish actually. Such a lovely, awesome smoky flavour. Not so tender. To be honest, I'm not sure it's something I would eat often, but it's an occasional thing. I think it's pretty interesting. I would have to give kippers for breakfast a 7 out of 10. Mostly because the flavour's nice, it's just that it just feels alien to me to eat fish for breakfast. It's not that bad though. I'll see you at lunch. So for today's lunch, I'm going to Series 3 Episode 5 Time Slides, and I'm going very simple with Hitler's Sandwich, which is basically banana and crisp. In the episode, they managed to find a way to go back in time by sliding into some photos. And Lister goes to Hitler's Nuremberg address, steals his briefcase, and inside is a banana and crisp sandwich.
Banana and crisps?
So, yes, I am eating Hitler's lunch, which is such a weird thing to say. Anyway, so it's very simple. A couple of slices of white bread, buttered. And we have a banana, which is a little bit overripe, but it's fine. Slice this up. Just arrange those nicely on the bread. And I've just got some plain old ready salted crisps, because I figured mostly back in those days you probably wouldn't have flavoured crisps, it would just be salty. So the whole packet in, why not? Shove that on top. Smush it down. And of course, cut into triangles, because triangles are nicer. And there we go, banana and crisp sandwich. I've got a feeling this might be a bit plain and boring, but let's go for it anyway. Yeah, it's very plain and boring. What do you expect? There's a banana and crisp sandwich. But we're going to follow that with something else. From Series 3 Episode 4 Body Swap, we are going with a strawberry milkshake and a crispy bar.
We can't find the auto-destruct systems. Don't breathe, don't touch anything.
A milkshake and a crispy bar.
Auto-destruct sequence initiated. I should have done.
Unfortunately, they don't sell, as far as I can tell, the type of milkshake that they have in the episode. Although I do remember them. I'm pretty sure we had those milkshakes at school. But you know what? I've never had a Yazoo. Interesting colour. Cheers. Yep, it just tastes like artificial strawberry milkshake. To be fair, it says strawberry juice from concentrate 1%, so it's not completely unnatural. But of course, toffee crisp. I used to eat these quite a bit, but I haven't had one in many, many, many years. And of course, they changed the name of it on the episode. They call it Toffee Crispy, which isn't its real name. So if you're not British and you've never seen these things before, don't believe what you see on screen. They're actually called Toffee Crisp. That's what it looks like on the inside. It's basically chocolate with, I want to say sort of Rice Krispies inside, and then topped with a layer of caramel. Delicious. For dinner today, we are having fish.
Fish!
And of course, today's fish is trout à la creme.
Today's fish is trout à la creme.
This is from Series 1, Episode 3, Balance of Power. And basically, the cat is being taught how to use the automatic dispenser machines, and he just orders 6 orders of fish. And of course, he ends up with a stack this high, and it's far too much for him. So I have some lovely trout fillets here. These are from Tesco. These are Scottish lock trout fillets. I don't really have trout all that often. I have salmon and I'll have like cod and stuff. In terms of what to eat with it, we don't really see a good shot of the cat's plate. There is some sort of green mush stuff on there, which I'm assuming is maybe like wilted spinach. Unfortunately, I went to the shops today, they didn't have any spinach. So I'm just going to have sort of a side salad with rocket Well, I will be having them with potatoes. They're in the oven cooking already because they take a while to do, whereas the salmon doesn't take all that long. But yeah, let's get on and make this. So this isn't actually called trout a la creme on the recipe, but it's basically going to be having creme. So we've got some double cream here. So therefore it's trout with cream. Anyway, it's probably close enough. So the ingredients you need for this is double cream, marjoram, lemon. We also need some butter, cider vinegar, and some white wine. Salt and pepper for seasoning, some onion, and of course I told you about the rocket as well. And of course the trout. So in order to cook the trout, I'm just going to put a little bit of oil in the bottom of a tray here. And then we'll just stick the trout on top, skin side down. And a bit more olive oil on top. And then we'll just season that with some salt and pepper. So this needs to go in the oven for 20 to 22 minutes according to the packet. But to make the creme sauce, we need to chop some, well, the recipe says shallots. I don't have any shallots, nor could I find them in the shops. However, I did have an onion, and that's basically the same thing, right? It's probably got a stronger flavour, but that's fine. That's a good alternative. Now, this is clearly not the most efficient way to cut an onion. Why am I usually so good at cutting onions, but it was such an oddly shaped cut onion from what I had done in the past this week. That was basically what's left over from my cornflakes the other day. Now the recipe does say to have fresh marjoram, however again I just couldn't find any fresh marjoram, so I'm going to use the dry stuff instead. The next step is to throw in 1/4 of a cup of wine and 1/4 of a cup of cream, and then a splash of vinegar. And then we'll also throw in our marjoram now, and we'll just mix this all together. So now I have another pan and a strainer next to me, because the next step, once this is ready, is to strain out the onions and then reduce it further without the onions, which is a bit unusual to me, because if I was making this to my own ideas, I could just leave the onions in, but that's the recipe I'm being told to follow, so that's the recipe I'm gonna do. Let's throw that into our sieve. We hardly have any cream in there at all. I'm losing my faith in this recipe. The next step is to whisk in some butter. Then we're gonna add a bit of salt and pepper as well. This is supposed to make enough sauce for 2 people. And this is barely enough for a rat. I mean, it tastes alright. I just don't feel like there's enough. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add some more. Let's throw a bit of wine in and some more cream. Let's throw in a little bit more butter as well. One of the great things about cooking, isn't it, is if something isn't working, you can try and rescue it some other way. There's one thing I've not done yet, and that is throw in some fresh lemon. Oh, that is good. That is so much better. Okay, our trout is now cooked. So let's throw that on our plate that's already got our rocket garnish. Add on our side of potatoes. These are just baby new potatoes that I've just simply roasted. And finally, here's our finished sauce, which is probably not as thick as it should be, but we had our issues. So we'll just throw that on there. And there we go. Trout a la creme.
Today's fish is trout a la creme.
It smells awesome.
Enjoy your meal.
I will.
Let's give this a try. That is quite good. It's quite an oily fish. But a nice crunchy bit there. The cream sauce is really nice actually. I'm glad I made more of it, because the recipe that I was using it all disappeared. I might have reduced it a bit too much. Fish twice in one day, huh? I've literally been burping Kippers all day. It's like I've been fished to death.
I've been fished to death!
Well, I've got to say this is a very, very good meal. And it's quite light in flavour. It's not overly powerful. Just very delicate flavours. Well, I'm going to have to give this like a 8, maybe 9 out of 10. Mostly because it surprised me. I wasn't expecting it to be so, like, nice. I can see why the cat ate like 6 portions of this in one go. So good. Right, I'll see you tomorrow. Charmy Kebab Diablo.
Man, it's like eating molten lava.
And a lot of hot chili powder. Wow. Woo.
Nothing wrong with kippers for supper.
The Kippers Vindaloo.
Canadian lobster. Hello.
Ketchup with lobster.
Anta versus Tango. I'm going to start with orange. Ooh, quite orangey. Ooh, that's punchier.